Hey, it's Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and today I'm looking at Rain World. So the character you play is called Slugcat, Slugcat, whichever. Let's go with A. It's A Slugcat. And as you see, the environment is was quite industrial, but seems as though whoever was responsible for that is long gone. Slugcat's dying on what looks like bats as they make their way through a pretty dangerous environment, being wary of flooding rain. And along the way, you got separated from your loved ones. There's some really green water that doesn't look good. Now you're on your own, you're fairly young, you have to survive. No pressure. Okay, so Rain World is a survival game. So it's a game about you're pretty much exposed, as you can see there in the lower left. You're hungry. It's about satisfying Slugcat's basic needs for food and shelter, which are very relatable basic needs. And along the way, it looks like a fungus. I don't know. This little yellow creature just sort of gives you little hints and tips sometimes about things that might be on other screens. The game has over 1,000 screens or something in there, I guess, with which to choose. So it's never quite the same. And eating food to fill up 4 of those spots is sufficient for you to hibernate. So the goal is to get from one area to the next and hibernate in between them. Sort of. The game doesn't really explicitly tell you anything. Like, you can see some of the controller stuff comes up from that little yellow thing that seems to be helping you, which is very much appreciated, because without that it would be even more confusing on exactly what you're supposed to do. So I like the animation of the game. I like the way Slugcat kind of moves. I like the look and sound. Things are very subtle. You know, things kind of come at you slowly, which doesn't mean that they're not a threat. But I don't know, there's a calming sense of this game that comes and goes. So you find shelter. Your body is using what you've eaten in order to survive in it. So I don't know to what depth I don't know how deep that is. I don't know if you don't find enough food, can you not find the shelter, or is it that you can't get in it? It's, you eating is pretty integral to you living, which, I mean, why wouldn't it be? And of course, you are both predator and prey. As you can see, Slugcat is holding a berry, it looks like, and then one of those bat things in his or her other hand. And that's what Slugcat eats in order to survive. And of course, other creatures who would love to dine on Slugcat in order to survive. So as much as I guess you'd want to be angry or see those other creatures as the evil of the enemy, they're kind of no worse than you eating those bats in order to survive. It's the same thing. And of course, if you haven't found shelter, here comes the rain. And normally when you see the rain at this point, probably too late for you to to do anything about it. And whatever progress you've made, whatever these symbols mean, looks like an upside down 2, upside down and reverse 2, you kind of have to start fresh. How can I put this? I wanted to get into Rain World a lot more than I did. Ultimately, it required a level of patience that I'm not sure I have. Like, I like the design. I think what the developers have done visually in terms of music is phenomenal. I have some small issues with some of the mechanics. When sometimes Slugcat, I would think he would be jumping to something and grab onto it, and then he wouldn't. And other times when I didn't want to grab onto it, he would. Some minor control issues that I had, but I didn't really understand what I understood what I was supposed to do. I just didn't know how I was supposed to do it. Like, you see the symbols on that that arch or that thing in the background. Those are significant, but I didn't know really what to do with them. And the map certainly helps. That I found definitely useful. But there's just so many things out there trying to kill you. It's rough. And that's a sound that I heard rather frequently. Of me dying over and over and over again. You know, I'm not in a vacuum. I did see some other people, read some other reviews and things of people. This is after I did this, who put 60 hours in and were raving about it. I understand why they like it, but they were successful. I think what's here is really well done. It's just, I need a little bit more to work with in order to, I need something to incentivize me to continue, rather other than me just being eaten and losing over and over again. You know, and a game like, everybody talks about Dark Souls, it's a very difficult game, but a game like that, it's difficult, but you can save progress. You can go back and retrieve what you've already, maybe some things that you've gained. This game just pretty much kind of starts you from scratch if you fail enough. And I found that to be frustrating ultimately. And I see why other people enjoyed it. I just really wish I enjoyed it more. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Rain World. Feel free to like, subscribe, and click on one of these videos. Thanks for watching.